Does it not ask you for the code? What up? Oh man, that sucks if it's not asking people for the code. I have to admit everybody. What's up, Kristen?
What's up?
Thanks for waking up.
I got my energy drink. It's awesome.
And you have 2 today, right?
I do. Yeah. I have you guys right now, and then I'm doing the YP one at 12 o'clock.
Yeah. Fun.
So yeah, super fun. All sorts of nerdiness today. It's great.
Yeah. Well, there's supposed to be like the code to come in, but it looks like I'm having to let everybody in. So we'll get started pretty much right at 8:30, but
okay. Works for me.
On pretty much right on time or like a couple minutes later.
Also, how many do you guys usually have?
Every Thursday.
No, I mean, how many agents?
Oh, lately it's been like 30 in the summertime when it's when it's like normal time. So I'm taking over this call for the summer because Adelina, who runs it, is had a baby.
That's exciting.
When she's on, it's like 80 people, but it's okay. I'm getting to have my friends on for everybody to learn from, right? So it's some new blood, some new.
It works.
Yeah, it works. I'm still not recovered from this weekend either, so I'm hella tired.
So that happens as we get older.
I know. I was telling Michael that. I was just like, recovery is tough when you're 37.
Yeah. And I didn't even go out the way you guys did. Or not you, but the others.
Yeah. There's still people joining in.
Nice.
Turn my do not disturb on. So otherwise you're going to hear our messages going up all the time. Hello, everyone who's hopping on. We'll get started in a minute. I know we'll have a couple other people joining. And thanks to those who have their cameras on. Okay, well, I'm going to keep letting people in because there's just a bunch of people joining, and I'm sorry the code wasn't working, so I'll keep doing that. But I'll go ahead and start introducing our lovely guest for today, Miss Kristen Carter. She's out of Arizona, like Phoenix, Arizona. And you live in Queen Creek, right?
I do. Yeah.
So it's like the one place, I had a friend that parents lived in Queen Creek, like a random little part. But she's I met her through KWYP. She's not placed, maybe one day. But the reason that I wanted Kristen to join us is because she was the very first agent I saw doing classes on ChatGPT and AI stuff. And this was like months ago. I feel like you immediately started researching it and learning it. And I myself haven't taken a class from you yet. So I was like, I really am interested. And it seems like every week there's a new AI kind of feature. So ChatGPT is kind of the original that like people started using. I've used it for property descriptions, which I hate writing. And it's been just a blessing for me. And I've used it a little bit in Canva, like the Canva AI features. That's pretty much it. So I know I was interested in learning how we can use it more in our business. And I've just been seeing more and more ChatGPT classes pop up. So I will let Miss Kristen take it from here and let me know. And the only thing that sucks is I don't think I think if I have to let you share your screen, you might have to start inviting people, like accepting,
admitting them.
hitting them, which kind of sucks.
Okay.
So I'm sorry to have to do that to you. Hopefully, I'm like, maybe just get started a little bit, and once introducing yourself a little bit more, and I can see if I can let any stragglers in before handing the reins over to you.
Perfect. That's something. So thank you so much for having me on here, guys. I appreciate it. Like Elizabeth said, I am a Keller Williams agent out of the Phoenix metro market. I'm a buyer specialist on a team. I've been licensed for 5.5 years, and I joke that I'm our unofficial team geek. So anything techie, anything new, anything that they're trying to figure out how we can incorporate it into our business, I end up being the one doing the research on it. So when ChatGPT came out, I started seeing it and I was like, what is this? Is this something that we can use, or is this just a fun new toy and a fun new tech? So I started diving into it, and it is a really interesting and easy way for people who are not techie to be able to utilize a tool that has been available to everybody, just gatekeep by knowing how to talk to computers. So what ChatGPT did is this company basically came up with a way for people to communicate with the AI or with an AI system, and talk to it as if you're talking to a friend or a virtual assistant. So I like to tell people, think of it as the smartest, dumbest virtual assistant you've ever had. You have to be very specific in what you want it to do, and then it will do a beautiful job for you. If you're vague in your requests, you're going to get a vague response back, and it's not going to be amazing. So I do have like a presentation, and then I'm going to share my screen so we can just kind of play and come up with things. In the meantime, if you haven't already started a ChatGPT account, you totally can go to the website on your own computer right now, chat.open.com. And that will allow you to create an account while I'm talking. So that way you can play along as well. So let's see. Elizabeth, does it give me permission?
Yep, I will transfer to you. Fingers crossed. That's not like a huge amount of people haven't joined yet. So I'm making you host.
Perfect.
And then can you repeat the website? I think for me, at least, you cut out a little bit, and I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. It is chat.openai.com.
Cool. Post it in the chat for everybody.
Okay. Let me go here and here. And let's see if my Canva wants. I apologize for that. Okay. Can you see that now? Okay, perfect.
I can see your Canva.
Okay, cool. It's working slowly. I do not know why it's so slow today. It's because it's early. That's why.
Yes, thank you again. It is. I've been asking pretty much only Pacific Coast people to be on the call. So thank you so much for waking up early.
It's because we love you. It's fine. We'll do anything for you. And then are you seeing those people pop up as admit?
No.
Okay. Then I'm hitting admit as they come in.
Yeah,
so
admit all. Sorry.
All right. No, totally good. Okay, perfect. So we're going to dive right in if my system wants to be nice today. I don't know why. It's fine. All right. So first off, what is AI? Let's have that conversation. So AI is artificial intelligence. It's essentially a computer that has been trained by humans with loads of information. And then because it's a computer and not a human, it processes it super fast, even faster every day. And that's what a lot of the chatter legalities and unknowns and philosophical debates are all about, is how fast is the computer going to process this, and are we in trouble? So we're going to leave that conversation for another day. Just know that it's a big computer doing smart things behind the scenes and can calculate way faster than any human being. ChatGPT itself is a pre-trained transformer, and it's an artificial intelligence language model. So there's so many different versions of artificial intelligence. I mean, you have artificial intelligence in your phone when you open it up and you start speaking to it. When you hop in your car and it says, do you want to go to X? Because that's somewhere you go often. That's your computer knowing what you usually do and then trying to preemptively help you. That's artificial intelligence. So we use it every day. We just don't realize it. So ChatGPT, what they did was they just created a chat bot. So it's a chat window. You can literally talk to it the way you would talk to another person or an assistant, and it will send you back a really nice response in conversational tone. So it doesn't sound like you're talking to a computer. It sounds like you're talking to a person. I actually asked ChatGPT what it is, and it told me this neural network architecture, human-based responses, blah, blah, blah. So then I was like, no, I need like the dumb version. So it says it's like a robot that can talk to people in a way that sounds like a real person. It works by using a program to help it. And it got really smart by reading books, articles, and the internet. So you talk to it by going to OpenAI. There is an iPhone app now. I'm sorry, Android users. There isn't one yet. So you can do it on the website. You can do it on your phone. It's free. If there's a lot of people on it, when you are also on it as a free user, you will get bogged down. You will get buffered. If you pay for the upgraded account, which is $20 a month, you'll get all the beta features. So anything new that they're testing, you'll get access to that. And then you'll also get priority, so you won't be buffering. What can we do with it? So Elizabeth already said listing descriptions. That seems to be the biggest one that most agents know about, that it's really easy to go in and put in a property and have it spit back a description. You can also use it for so many other things, though. If you struggle with writing newsletters, if you struggle with writing emails, if you want to template out all of your client communication, you can use it for SEO. You can use it for your social media planning. So content planning, script writing, captions, ideas for anything that you might want to post. It can literally do all of that. The other thing that a lot of people don't realize it can do is it can translate for you. So if you have something that's in another language, it is amazing at translating, way better than like Google or any of the other translation websites. You can also tell it to write you something so it can translate from English to another language as well. And I had a few people test that for me, and they said that it was actually really well done. You can summarize. So if you put a large body of text in it, it will actually crunch it down for you. So say you have something that you have to read, a really long article, whatever, you can copy paste, put it in there, and then it'll summarize it for you into 2 or 3 sentences and give you a really easy, digestible version of whatever it is. It does know a lot of books. So if there's a book you're reading and you want it to help you either generate questions for a book club, if you want to cheat per se, you can also ask it questions like that and it will answer them for you. So market updates are a little hit or miss because it's not always up to date. If you're using any sort of advanced plugin where you're essentially connecting it to the internet, it's better. But if you're just using it as general ChatGPT, you have to keep in mind that it stopped learning at 2021. So trying to ask it specific questions about the market is not going to be the most accurate information. What's really cool though is after you ask it all these questions of what you want it to do, you can then direct it to make it better. So my favorite thing to do is I ask it to generate me a listing description. And then it generates me this big, long 5-paragraph essay that's just way, way too wordy. And then I say, okay, please make it shorter, or please cap it at 200 words. And it will go back and re-edit whatever it did. You can also ask it to give it a different tone. So say you wanted it to be funnier, or you wanted it to be more serious, or you wanted it to evoke emotion. You can ask that of it, and it will change how it's written. It typically gives you kickback if you try to ask it to be snarky or sarcastic or do anything that seems to be mean. They've put a lot of filters on there. However, I found out that if you ask it a couple of times or a couple different ways, sometimes it lets you do it. So basically just, you can keep playing with it and sometimes it'll do all sorts of fun stuff. If you don't get what you want out of it, it's because you didn't give it good enough input. So sometimes it just means you need to put more information in or ask it better questions. And then here's my caveats. Don't put anything personal or sensitive into ChatGPT. It is an open project. They own the data that you're putting into it. So don't put clients' names. Don't put property addresses. I should say you can put property addresses, but don't put tax IDs or anything that's sensitive and shouldn't be out on the internet. So avoid that. Use fillers, use placeholders. When I show you where you can log in and stuff, you'll actually see your previous conversations saved. So you can use those to sort kind of by topic. I do recommend that if you have it respond to you with something amazing, don't just leave it in your OpenAI account, copy and paste it into another file somewhere and save it. I've had it wipe my tabs when it has an update. So there's no guarantee that it will always keep your previous conversations. So it was a very sad day when it erased a whole social media content plan for me. So I learned my lesson. I now just keep a Google Drive folder of all the things that I want it to do. And then that way I can also sort them and keep them organized. You can, once you start playing with it and then you dive deeper, if you go really nerdy, you can start to use it and implement it into your website. You can use it for different integrations. So there's ways that you can actually pull ChatGPT and make it work for you. It does have bugs. It is a little glitchy sometimes. So I don't recommend letting it be client facing right away until you know its limitations. However, I did just see that Zillow and Redfin both have a plugin for ChatGPT now, where if somebody goes to the website, and it's through ChatGPT, so this is not open to the whole public, but if somebody goes in, they can say, hey, I'm looking for a house, $250,000 in a neighborhood close to restaurants. I'm moving from blah, blah, blah. Here's what we like. And then it will pop up with some properties for them to look at. So I thought that was a really interesting way to utilize ChatGPT. Right now, there's no integration with any MLS system. So it's not like you can go and plug that in. I feel like that is the future of AI, though. We will still be seeing stuff like this more often. So let's go play with ChatGPT. I'm hoping it's not glitching. All right. So this is what your screen looks like. It literally just looks like a chatbot. So this over here.
If you don't pay for it, it might look a little different, just FYI. Mine looks just a little different.
Okay. That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I don't know what the free version looks like. So there's 2 different speeds. Share a link to this chat. That's a new feature. Cool. So there's different speeds to it. There we go. I want to go up. So I did a video for May the 4th that was Star Wars real estate. Like, what would houses look like and what would their captions be if you sold houses in the Star Wars world? So I asked ChatGPT to write me some MLS descriptions for ridiculous properties. And it was a blast. So I had a ton of fun asking it to do that. The other one that's really fun too. So this one was, I asked it for a book summary. Okay, there we go. I was like, where's my scrolly thing? So I asked it if it's knowledgeable about the book, Who Not How. It gave me a summary of it. So then I asked it about 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer. And so it gave me a summary as well. So then I said, well, how do they overlap and complement? How can you use both? And so then it gave me this whole thing about it, and how you can actually implement that into your business as a step-by-step formula. So I thought that was a really cool way to utilize its knowledge. So we're going to start a new chat. We're going to start at the beginning. So quick and easy. Whoops. New chat. There we go. Okay. So write a listing description for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Dallas, Texas with, and many more people. A large fenced yard and private pool. Soon going to be nice today. There we go. So it gave me this whole long thing in like, 2 seconds, which would take me a lot longer. Now, because I didn't give it extra information, it just made stuff up. So it has decided that this is where the inviting living area is, and that it has an open floor plan, and there's a generous master suite and whatever else. So obviously you can go in and tweak that to fit what's actually true about your house. We could say edit to make it shorter. Also describe the renovated kitchen with quartz counters and stainless appliances. Keep in mind too that it doesn't know fair housing rules. So sometimes it puts things in that you definitely have to change. So yeah, so it made it shorter. It added the kitchen. It talks about where it is. It's, quick, easy, nothing spectacular, but a good start. So now for like social media content, write a plan for 7 days of Facebook posts for a real estate agent in, let's say, Texas, looking for sellers to sell their home. Again, generic. But here are 7 quick, easy call to action Facebook posts.
It even gave you emoji.
It gave me emojis. Yeah, and hashtags. So it gives you all of that. So now I'm going to give you guys the dive deeper version of this. If you want a better way to ask ChatGPT for content, here's what you're going to do. You're going to tell it what you're asking it to do. So I'm going to ask you for a social media content plan for Facebook. I I am a real estate agent in Texas. Please ask me 5 questions that you need the information in order to create great content for me. So now it's going to ask me these questions. So it has the information that it needs to personalize what I want it to do. So don't be afraid to have it ask you what it needs in order to do the job you want it to do. So I always say, tell it what you want from it. So whether that is a social media content, whether that is a letter to clients, whether that's a template of all transaction emails, it's going to be able to do what you want it to do when you feed it information. Because you have to remember that it's a computer and it can only do what it knows to do. So all of this, so like you can basically put your branding into it and say, hey, look, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's who my ideal client is, and then it will tailor its responses to fit that. And then from here, this would take a while, so I'm not going to do this because we don't have enough time. But when you do this, it will then spit back a whole bunch of content for you. It can create newsletters, so full written newsletters for every month. I'm going to do a new chat so that way I'm not feeding it the same information, but write me a quick newsletter to homeowners about homeowners in Texas. Include a recipe, a homeowner care tip, and a call to action for real estate. I have no idea if this recipe is actually any good or not. But it just gave me a recipe, it gave me hurricane season, and then it gave me real estate opportunities in 5 seconds. So if you're stuck, the biggest thing is you can use AI to just stop overthinking more than anything else. Like just get something written and out to your clients as a touch. And that's really what this does for you. So, I would love to open it up to questions and like suggestions so that way we can just play.
I have a question. I haven't tried this yet. I've heard that ChatGPT can give you like spreadsheets. Or like not, I mean, like, or like a table, I should say.
What information do you want it to create or to put into the table?
Maybe like to make you a calendar or something. Like you were saying, it give you a social media plan. Like, what does that look like when it gives you a social media plan?
It gives you a list of text, and then you would have to just plug it where you want it to go as far as like your schedule goes. I haven't asked it to generate me a table.
And I think Michaela has a question if you want to go
there
ahead.
It is.
There you go. Okay, so it does something.
Something. And then, well, yeah, I don't know how you would pull it from there.
Yeah.
Michaela.
Hey, thank you so much for doing this, Kristen. I really appreciate it. So I have been using this ChatGPT for like since it kind of blew up, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it, and I love how it saves everything in case I had a really good one. Like you said, pull it out if I really want to keep it. Have you used Canva's AI? And is it comparable? Do you prefer one or the other? I just learned that Canva had it, so I'm trying to figure out which one I want to use more, which one's simpler, whatever.
For sure. Yeah. I found that. So Canva has their AI. Microsoft now has Bard. We've put them head to head for like responses. So my husband's as big a nerd as I am, and so we sit and have like AI battles. Like we put the same thing in to see what comes out of it. We found that ChatGPT has the most creative responses of all of the other ones. Canvas is decent. It's not great. I prefer to create in ChatGPT and then drag it over to Canva to do what I want it to do. Their magic right is still kind of glitchy. It's not very fast and it's not near as creative as ChatGPT. However, I will say that their new image maker that they have in Canva, that one's pretty fun. Some of the stuff that comes out is super weird and alien looking, but it does have some really neat images from it. So if you can't find like an image in Canva that you want, use their AI to just generate it. And it's pretty neat. Like it can make you some fun little graphics and it can make you some photorealistic stuff. So for that, I do like Canva's AI.
Cool. Thanks.
Of course. And then I actually learned too that MailChimp has a new AI portion of their newsletter. So if you use MailChimp, it can pull your branding from your website for you, and it'll figure out what your fonts are. It'll figure out what your colors are. It will pull your logo. It will pull photos. So if you have a website that's not just like a basic template website, if you have a custom website, you can create newsletters so fast in MailChimp now. So yeah. Who else? I can't see hands, Elizabeth, so you'll have to call people out.
I don't see anyone raising their hand right now. I just am curious, and you can raise your hand or just unmute or put in the chat. Who has used ChatGPT already? And there's cool. Yeah, some people have.
I'm literally using it right now as we're walking through this. I have a luxury listing coming up and I hate writing descriptions. So I was like, give me a 4,000 square foot, 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath pool, spa, blah, blah, blah. And it's doing it for me. So
I love it. I love it. Yeah. I feel like that was the biggest pain point for most realtors. And that's why it became the like easy adoptable tech, is that property descriptions, like you sit down to write one and you're like, what am I going to say? I don't want it to sound like the other one I just did. So,
and does anybody have another way they've used ChatGPT? I know one other way that I've seen it used. I was on the Brivity Happy Hour in February with Bob, who's in our Place World, and he actually told me that the interview questions that he asked, he just asked ChatGPT. So he was just like,
yeah,
give me 10 interview questions if I'm interviewing a real estate agent about networking. And like, those are the questions that Bob asked me. So I thought that was really great. Like if you're just needing, ideas or like a writer's block. So that was pretty cool. So has anyone else used it in any other way? Or are we only writing property description?
So
Kevin Sharkey.
Yeah, I mean, I think I missed the first 5 minutes of this, but I think one of the things that I've been using it for is just basically what you were doing, which is like generating like different lists and things like that you could find or build yourself, but you could do it a lot more quickly. And then also more recently, I've just been trying to prepare some things in Spanish as I try to tee someone up, because I don't speak Spanish, but as I try to figure out if when I get somebody on the phone and they realize they don't speak English and I don't speak Spanish, how to qualify them at least enough to then be able to pass them off to somebody. And so I could tell them, I could say in English, this is what I need. And then after I get it, then I say, okay, now translate it back to English, and that's been just really helpful in terms of just trying to qualify some people, in our list.
yeah, it's fantastic for just quick translations. So here's something else that I put into it one day, just task management. I was asking it for advice on like, hey, if this is my list, what's my best way to go about getting this done? And it gave me this whole like, here, do this, do that, do this. And I was like, okay, cool. So like for those of us with ADHD who require body doubling to get tasks done, like I know some of you know what I'm talking about. ChatGPT can do that for you. Like basically it'll make your list and be like, okay, here's your task, go do it. And then you get it done and you're like, hey, I did it. And it's like, great job. Now go do this. So it's amazing. Like I love it. So so it's fantastic for that. Michaela.
I'm looking back at like all the ones that I've used it for, and there are tons. But my top three, I think, are responding to online reviews. I do that for our team, and there's only so many ways you can say thank you for your review, Stephen. Like, and so it just adds a little bit of fluff. I always like proofread it, obviously, but it's nice to have a little bit of difference in all of my replies. And then for bios, I've done a couple agent bios, and even for one for myself for our website or for LinkedIn, just so we have a little bit of about ourselves. I've done it for that. And then the third one is for events. So like for Eventbrite, you want to have like a little blurb about an event, and sometimes like it writes them a little bit more eloquently than I might be able to. And so just kind of doing that, or for graphics and stuff, just writing those little blurbs. Yeah, those are my top three, what I've used it for. It's pretty cool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, really, truly, anything that you do in your business that requires copywriting, you can ask ChatGPT to do. So like here, 10 catchy email subject lines to get a seller's attention. And then I asked it for snarky because I can. And it yelled at me.
Kristen, what question did we ask it that one time that we were like, we're in a group chat together where we're like, give us funny ways to ask for X, or like someone was trying to rebrand. She's like, I want it to be purple. I want it to be, I mean, she's in Arkansas. So we literally were like, I don't know what you asked it, but you gave us like a list of names that it came up.
I literally, that's what I put into it. I said, I want to rebrand my business name. Here's who I am and what I do. Here's my branding colors, and here's where I am. And then it spit me out a list of like 15. Some of them were really dumb, but there were a couple of really good ones in there. And like this one, like I first I asked it snarky and it told me no. So then I said humorous. And so it gave me this. I've asked it before, give me email subject lines to send to a client who's ghosted me. And it's like, it spits out some really funny, catchy things that I'm not witty enough for, or I'm not awake enough for, whatever. And so like, these are hilarious to me. And I'm like, you know what? If I have a client who's not calling me back anyway, what am I going to lose? Like, I might as well send them one of these and see if they open my email.
Yeah. Michaela, dad jokes for days.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's not amazing at humor sometimes because it's a computer and it doesn't get humor, but sometimes that makes it even funnier to me. So, yeah, you can ask it like what else it can do for you, and it will give you a list of things it can do. So I think the biggest thing is that don't pay money for ChatGPT classes, because you can literally ask it all the things you want to know that somebody would charge you for. So I see all these classes that they're like, oh, $99 for a ChatGPT class. And I'm like, that's cool, but I could just type it in and do it for free. Yeah, what else? Oh, you can. So I've asked it before, like, this is one of my favorites actually. So social media content planning, sometimes it's just creating like ideas for me, and then I'll go and do the rest of my stuff. 5 things to do for free in Dallas this weekend.
Yeah, those are all the things.
There's 5 videos for you. There's a listicle post. There's 5 Facebook posts or an Instagram. Like if you've been to any of these places, pull a picture from your phone that you've already taken, put this as a caption, and now you have an Instagram post. Super easy, like 30 seconds and done, and you don't have to think about it. And that's the other thing is like, I know we see a lot of those posts on Instagram and TikTok that just say like, use old footage, use B-roll in the background and put information above it. This is the easiest way to generate that information. And then just quick, done, put a post up. This would make a really good touch for a client, somebody who just moved here and you're like, hey, did you know about these 5 things? Just giving you some ideas of stuff you can do this week.
You said it was not updated since 2021, which I'd heard before. So is there any like, because you're more in the know than me, is there any knowledge of like when it'll be updated again, or like
it's not connected to the internet is basically what it is. So if you're using ChatGPT on OpenAI's platform, you aren't connected to the internet for up-to-date info. When you use the plugins and you connect it to Chrome or through certain sites, then it will feed more information to it. So there are ways to do it. It's really more a matter of what are you hoping to get out of it, as far as like research goes or data goes. So if you're trying to use it for research or data, then you're going to want to plug it in to a different way. And I can explore what that would look like and where you would have to do that at. But otherwise, you're better off just using it as the generative tool versus the research tool.
cool.
Yeah. Like, you can ask it general market stuff, but if I were to ask it like, how's the housing market in Phoenix, Arizona?
It does give you a disclaimer.
Yeah, it gives me the disclaimer and it gives me the here's what we were seeing, here's what things were, that sort of thing. I do like that it says consult with a local real estate professional. Like, yeah, good job, ChatGPT. Way to support agents.
Joseph just put something that we do need to point out. It will lie to you. It will make crap up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he said that there was a lawyer that like asked ChatGPT to pretty much do his job and like give him a bunch of cases to support what he was fighting, and it made stuff up. Like
you need to fact check anything that comes out of it, unless it's giving you just general knowledge. So like if you're asking something specific, you better make sure that it's actually true, because it will fill in the blanks. And just be creative.
Yeah. And another thing that I've heard too, so I have a friend that's an English teacher, and she's, instead of banning ChatGPT from her classroom, because it's a thing that they're going to have now forever. It doesn't quite make sense for kids not to learn how to use it. And so instead, what she did is told them, okay, have ChatGPT write your paper, and then I want you to rewrite it in your own voice. And so that was just like a way she's incorporating it. So this is like outside of real estate, but like if you have other uses for it, or like you can cheat using it, this is our reality. It's kind of like whenever our teachers told us, you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket, because I'm older than a lot of you. Now we do. I have a calculator and I have a translator, and I have literally everything in my pocket. And so it's not, we're having to learn new skills, because memorization's not that important anymore. So that's just not a skill we have to learn more. It's like, how do we get the information and then, absorb it in a different way, or be able to interpret it ourselves and be able to make us think. Because I feel like every week there's new stuff coming out with this. There's one, we were at the KWIP National Summit this weekend, and one of the ladies, Katie Day, was telling us that there's a program that she uses that she puts in full-length videos, let's say an hour's worth of video, and then the program's AI spits her out 10 shorter videos based on what she said. So it's editing her content and analyzing like what chunks go together. So now she just has to record for an hour, and then this program, I think it's called Opus, this program spits out 10 short shorter videos. So like we're gonna start seeing a lot more stuff. But yeah, you're gonna tell us more. Go for it, Kristen.
No, that's exactly it. Like there's so many different AI things happening that ChatGPT actually kind of opened the doors for a lot of them. And it made it so people are willing to play. That's the other thing, is that ChatGPT kind of knocked down that barrier between the nerds and the rest of the population. So now, I mean, people can just pull it up on their phone and talk to it, and they don't feel intimidated by it, and they're getting more comfortable using it in all the other things. These are a lot of the ones that are also just like text based, and I have a feeling that, I mean, there's so many more that it's kind of crazy. But yeah, exactly. You can use AI for video editing. You can use AI for photo editing. There's a big trend right now with photographers that they're basically saying be very careful to the public of who they book with, because these photographers are using like Midjourney to create these beautiful wedding images, but they didn't actually exist. Like they're not real people, and they're not real weddings. And so they're trying to educate the public, like, you need to see a full gallery, you need to see this person's work, you need to talk to a real person who's hired them, because there's a lot of scammers out there. So I do have a PDF book with more information, some like prompts and some things and all of that fun stuff. So you are welcome to scan the QR code with your phone. I can send Elizabeth the link and she can send it out to everyone. But yeah, this is, I mean, ChatGPT is the future, AI is the future. So might as well embrace it and not overthink your business.
Thanks, Kristen. Does anyone else have any questions or other AI they'd like to share with everybody? I thought of one more in Canva. In Canva, they now have a new magic presentations. So yeah, Tracy, if you just want to, with your phone, take a picture of that QR code, it'll lead you to her ebook. But like I make a lot of presentations since I like teaching a lot of classes, and sometimes I get caught up in like the design and choosing a template and the things that don't matter. So I just told it like, if it's a certain vibe for the class, I'm just like, give me a professional presentation with blue and gray tones, and it'll just give me those options so I don't have to scroll through everything. So even like things like that just are saving me a ton of time.
Yeah. And Canva's other thing too with their presentations is now that you can actually tell it, like after you have your presentation built, you could be like, oh, I don't like those colors. And you can click through and it'll just change the colors for you until you find one that you're like, that'll work. We're good.
It'll also make presentations for you. I've asked it, like, make me a home buyer's presentation with 10 steps to home buying, and it makes it. And you just have to tweak it a little bit, but it gives you a good skeleton. So
yeah. There's a lot of chatter about how AI is taking some jobs from certain industries. So copywriters are finding that people aren't hiring them as much now that they can do it themselves. And then not graphic designers, but the like middleman jobs, like those are disappearing because of this. But I would argue that, to be honest, those jobs were kind of irrelevant to begin with. They were just kind of assistants and can be done better by tech. So,
well, that's just the whole thing of if you would have asked people, 200 years ago, if they want a car, they'd say no, they want, faster horses. That's just because we don't know what all it can unlock. So
exactly. Yeah. I was speaking with an older friend of mine, and he was telling me how one of his jobs in college, this was a real job, he had to go to the airport and he had to count the people as they got onto the plane. He got paid to do this. He sat there for hours at the airport and counted people. And yeah. And now that's obviously something that's done by computers. So there's always going to be things happening. And then there's going to be new roles and jobs created because of this and because of what people can do with it. So always think to the future and how we can make things happen better.
Well, Well, thanks so much, Kristen. Thanks so much for waking up early for us. And thanks, Texas, for showing up.
Thanks, Texas, for showing up.
Kevin said,
Y'all are awesome.
are you AI or real? Kristen's real. I hung out with her this weekend. So
Real person.
He's a real
Promise.
yeah. Sweet. Thanks so much. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you.